What's up, chess player? I hope you're ready for this game, which is gonna blow your mind. You have never seen anything like that before. It was the so-called Immortal game of Akiba Rubinstein. So let's take a look at it. You're gonna never be the same chess player afterwards. The game started with d4, d5, and knight f3, e6, nothing special yet. c4, we have the Tarrasch defense, a very popular back at the time. The game has been played in 1907. So very long time ago. We have the most symmetrical position here, and seemingly white should always have an advantage here thanks to an extra tempo, but white is not using it the right way here. b4, bishop just steps back to d6, bishop to b2, and castles. And queen to d2 doesn't seem to be such a great move here because you're not developing a new minor piece, you're basically just wasting your time. Queen to e7, bishop to d3, wasting yet another tempo because now d takes c, bishop takes, and b5, and you're making 3 moves in a row with your bishop. You should never allow that. Bishop to d3, rook to d8, look at how active black's pieces are, and it feels like already now black is playing with an extra tempo. Bishop to b7, castles, and black is the first one to play knight e5. And nowadays we know that it's a very important thing. The one who first gets to this move is getting the advantage, but back in the time, of course, it wasn't that well known, and yeah, maybe even after this game, players already understood that. Because now, yet, it's not such a great advantage, I would agree, but still, black is definitely more in favor here, in the driver's seat, having the opportunity to create some threats. So white is playing f4, white is trying to play aggressively, creating some counter threat, but that way it doesn't work because it's creating so many weaknesses in white's camp. Let's see how the one and only Rubinstein used all of those weaknesses. e4, but now this black's diagonal is getting very, very weak. Rook c8 first, just developing all of the pieces. That is what I like about Rubinstein so much, because he's always using those classical chess principles you should always use in your games. Because nowadays, if you take a look at the games of, I don't know, Magnus Carlsen or Hikaru Nakamura, oftentimes what you see is how they just crush all you know about chess, the whole understanding. But when you look at the games of Akiba Rubinstein, you will always find the proof that those principles really work in chess. And that is why so often learning those great games from the past makes much more use for you instead of watching those very, very modern games, because that is a completely different level of chess, which is very difficult to understand, and probably that sometimes would even be detrimental for you, because you're going to try to repeat the same thing that Magnus Carlsen is doing in his games, and it wouldn't work for you. You're going to lose the game, and you would be very upset and devastated with that. But if you learn those main principles, those just fundamentals based on those classical games, really great games from such masters as Akiba Rubinstein, I guarantee your chess level would tremendously grow. So the game continued with e5, and now it's time for black to use the fact that white has weakened the position so much, and now there are some weaknesses here. Just look at this diagonal over here, and the second bishop is coming to this diagonal, controlling it completely. King goes to h1 and knight g4. The first really great move because it sacrifices the knight, but if you take, then the bishop can be taken, and those two monsters will just decide the destiny of the game. So bishop e4 has been played instead, trying to fight for this diagonal. Queen h4, now creating yet another threat for this pawn on h2, and that is of course a checkmate in one threat. But the strategy to create a threat with your every move is incredibly efficient in chess, especially if you're playing or on not a professional level, but a slightly lower rated level. So g3 has been played, trying to protect the pawn on h2 and attacking the queen. But at this moment, something truly amazing is happening. So first of all, the bishop is hanging on here on b7, and the queen is hanging on h4. But, well, if you just take the bishop, it's gonna lead to some exchanges, and yeah, white probably would be able to stabilize the station. So here something truly amazing happens. Try to pause the video for a second and find a beautiful combination for black. I know it's difficult, but I hope you really invested your time and tried to find at least the first move of this incredible, truly amazing combination. It's rook takes c3. We need to remove those defenders from white's position, and the justification of it lies in the next move. So here, after g takes h, once again, if you need, try to pause the video for a second one more time and find the next move, because that justifies the whole thing. Otherwise, you're just a queen down. So meanwhile, we are going on here, and the next completely brilliant move, even chess.com agrees with that, that is rook to d2. You have just sacrificed the queen. What you are doing now? You're sacrificing the rook. Of course, what else can you do? The point is, of course, if you take it, there is bishop takes e4, and that is what happened in the game. Now, after queen to g2, the only way to deal with the check, you can play rook f3, but that would just blunder the rook, and the king has no squares to escape. So queen g2 happened. Now rook to h3, another just incredible move. I don't know any other words to explain you that, because now there is no way to deal with the rook takes h2 checkmate threat, and that is why white resigns that. I mean, that is so mind-blowing that I can't even truly explain it here. So I hope you really enjoyed the game. I hope you have learned a lot out of it. And if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, because it helps me so much to create even more educational content for you. And in this video, I'm showing you another truly amazing game of this master, Akiba Rubinstein, and you can learn so much out of his games. So definitely take a look at it.